senior administration official described President Obama's foreign policy as leading from behind, and then they started to they tried to backtrack and say, no, we really didn't mean that. When they do background interviews, it was during the Syria piece. That was the other one. That's the third one I was looking for. I was like Rick Perry all day. I had two, and I knew that there was a third. I also think that there is a way that this could get solved a little bit more quickly. There was an amendment today or a question whether or not Republicans and Democrats agree that federal employees should get back pay whenever this all gets settled. I think I would, if I were a Republican, I would introduce an amendment that says I believe that all federal employees should get back pay except for political appointees and also anyone that has at a grade GS 13 or 14 or senior executive service. That's all the top level people. This would get solved much more quickly.
Now, John Boehner was pretty fired up today. He said this is not a game and had some pretty harsh words for President Obama.
I was at the White House the other night and listened to the president some 20 times explain to me why he wasn't going to negotiate. Sat there and listened to the majority leader in the United States Senate describe to me that he's not going to talk until we surrender. And then this morning, we get the Wall Street Journal out, and it says, well, we don't care how long this lasts because we're winning. Now, this isn't some damn game.
Well, it's not some damn game. So, Bob, if you care about all of these programs, women and children, why wouldn't you pass these Republicans' bills that have come out of the House so that these programs are funded?
17 times the government has closed down because they did the continuing resolution. Never once did they try to hold it hostage to a major piece of legislation.
The Republicans, you do this all the time. You say something that is completely false, and then you come. What do you mean 17? So why did they shut down, Bob?
I assume they had a disagreement, but they didn't.
Over what?
I don't know.
Of course you don't know. It's always over something. It's always over.
Yes, but the difference was that they didn't put a
all in the middle, and they were fighting over whether it's
one of those in front of the pass.
Really?
Yes.
Really? What do you think was about? What do you think? They just didn't like each other.
They may have been about the street, and then they did the negotiated deal. Unlike this Republican, these right-wing crowd you go around.
Can we talk about the deal real quick? Here's the deal. Regardless of how we got here, if I was to, I saw you on Monday, Eric, and I was in the crowd at the camp on Monday. This is a bad strategy. They didn't think it out. Senator Cruz wrote it. I don't think Rand Paul was even going along with it. Even indicated the other day, wow, I don't care how we got here. Let's figure out how to get out of here. Having said all that, I think President Obama's overplayed his hand. I think he, tactically, the chess move that came across that was available today, and that is that John Boehner is let moderates know that he will not default on our debt. Essentially saying the next fight, I'm not going to have it, moderate. Stay in line. I'm not going to have it. Who benefits from him not fighting on something that we thought he should have been fighting on all along and not this one? So is he going to look like the bigger man? Is it beginning to reverse? This glacier beginning to reverse on Democrats?
It was the best thing that he said all along, and he's right.
For the country or for the Republic?
Well, no, for both, I think. But what he said that he's going to allow the moderates to join the Democrats to let the debt ceiling ride, and they will have a budget in that too, by the way. And then what's going to happen? The same thing happens all the time. Reasonable Republicans get along with Democrats and override these right-wing nuts.
Okay, well,
I gotta get
I do, but off the top of my head, I could be completely wrong. Medicare Part D, I think that may have been attached somehow to one of these fights. Also, funding the Iraq War may have been attached by the Democrats both times to some of these funding fights. And I want to. After Dan, I will definitely want to talk to dig down that.
So Ted Cruz is in the middle of this, Dana, and he's in the middle of the Republican Party. There was a closed-door meeting yesterday. Some members of Congress, according to the New York Times, had some harsh words for him. But Ted Cruz is insistent he's not backing down on defunding Obamacare. He also took to the House, or I should say the Senate floor, and he blamed this entire thing on Harry Reid.
We are in a shutdown because President Obama and the majority leader of this body want a shutdown because they believe it is in the partisan interest of their party to have a shutdown.
Do you think that most people believe that?
I think that most people are just sick of the whole thing, and that they don't think that this is in particular about any one person. It's not about President Obama, not about Ted Cruz. It's about they look at this. I'm just trying to put myself in America's shoes, looking back at Washington and saying, my goodness, what we want is for Washington to run more like a business. You don't see any business where this actually happens, and they knew that this was coming for a long time. I think that Obama is quite vulnerable. If you look at the Gallup poll out today, he has an approval rating of 41%. I don't think it'll be really difficult. Once you get down into those lower 40s, it's harder to pull up out of that, and this fight is certainly not going to help.
Don't you find it amazing that the guy responsible for this thing not getting through would sit there and actually have the guts to say that this is not Aaron Reed?
Hold on. The guts to say. The Democrats are winning it. And number two, who says that a moderate Republican, I don't expect you to answer this, but why would we want more moderate Republicans? It's not working.
Because
the government's out of control.
You might actually get something done.
And the Republicans may never win another presidency.
Why don't you ask all the people who voted for those Tea Party people if they would like to sign
I do think you were right. About the premise that most people out there, I think, blame one of those parties. I think that this is starting to backfire on the Democrats. And there was one lesson that came out of this. And I think it's that with the World War II memorial, where all the things that were supposed to happen didn't happen, people have learned one very important lesson, and that is, my life is okay without the government. The left was assuming that people would say, without the government, my life would come to an end, and it hasn't happened.
That's true. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I will say this. There's people like the Secret Service, and we know all these people, they haven't gotten paid. So they're furloughed, like they're guarding high-ranking officials, and then they're basically getting an IOU check. I think that's a little bit of a problem. Number two is, my point is, yours well taken. 800,000 people in a country this size, it's really not going to make much of a difference in the big picture. But here's the big story. When you have both sides going at it like this, they started here on Monday, and the only thing changing was the number of proposals Republicans offered. Harry Reid got angrier, the president got more direct, he's back out on the campaign trail, he thinks he's fighting Mitt Romney, and after a while, it's like, wait a second, we're on two different planets here. One's trying to solve it, the other one's saying, I think I'm winning because I'm going to stay away from him until the polls make me come back.
Can you offer me one scintilla of evidence that you just said that this is backfiring the Democrats besides your own point of view?
How about the Fox News?
No, I'm talking about...
Look, if you let me
Sure,
answer,
please.
hang on a second. We got a poll, new Fox News poll shows 88% of respondents said that what's happening in the country today, the respondents say government is in charge of the people. So Bob, big government.
What the hell does that have to do with the close to the government?
Because if you look at the polls, you are hoping that Republicans will be paid for the same. They're not across the board.
What is all the polls that say that and answer the question specifically?
If I'm not mistaken, the number's 46-46. Where
That's right. They blame both.